Hello students, it's your history teacher and I'm here with another lecture, this time with the last lecture of this unit, and it's Byzantine mission. I've already mentioned this during the lecture about Great Moravia, so the previous one, and I also suppose that you already know something about it, but I will try to deepen your knowledge. So, what we know is that Constantine and Methodius, so these two priests who came from the Byzantine Empire, were invited by Rastislav. Rastislav asked the Byzantine Emperor Michael III to send him some priests to spread the Christianity in Great Moravia. So Michael III sent two brothers from Thessaloniki in modern-day Greece. Po slovensky toto mesto sa volalo Solun, ale teda originál v gréčtine Thessaloniki. And as I mentioned, they were called Constantine and Methodius, so not Cyril and Methodius. Constantine and Methodius were their rightful names, and they came to Great Moravia in the year 863. I want you to remember this year, okay? So 863, Constantine and Methodius from Thessaloniki came to Great Moravia, sent by Byzantine Emperor Michael I to spread the Christianity, and they were invited by Rastislav. These two intelligent priests understood that they need to do more reforms to be successful at the spreading of the Christianity. And the most important thing to complete this mission was to give the Slavs living in the Great Moravia their script. So on their way from Byzantine Empire to Great Moravia, Constantine invented alphabet that was called Glagolitic script, and they brought it to Great Moravia when they came there. So Glagolitic was the first Slavic script. After their arrival, they applied the use of Christian symbol, Byzantine double cross, because they brought, the Eastern Christianity from Byzantine mission. I mentioned that in Byzantine mission there was the schism, okay? So this Byzantine double cross was the symbol of the Eastern Christianity. They also translated the Holy Bible into Old Slavic language, to je tá známa staroslovenčina. And the main reason for that was that everybody should understand the Bible, so the book of the books. They also gave us civil code, so the written law in Old Slavic language written by the Glagolitic script. And Constantine wrote the first poem in the Old Slavic language and the Glagolitic script, and its name is Proglas. I suppose you've learned that on your Slavic language lessons. The last thing that they made after their arrival was that they established the first school for young priests in Mikulčice. Mikulčice were one of the most important settlements in the Nitrava Principality. Okay, so these are the most important things they did for us. In the year 867, Constantine and Methodius went to Rome to get permission to use Old Slavic language as a liturgical language. Liturgical language is such a language that is confirmed by the Pope and can be used officially in the church and liturgical writings. Okay, nowadays it's not like that, but in Middle Ages there were only 3 official languages of the Western Church, and this was Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. But after the Byzantine mission, and when the Constantine and Methodius went to Rome, the Pope confirmed their mission, and Old Slavic language became one of these newly 4 official languages of the Western Church, so Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and Slavic. The Pope also appointed Methodius to be the first Pannonian archbishop, so he gave him the higher rank. This was important because after this appointment, Methodius could consecrate churches and priests, so he could spread the Christianity in Great Moravia more effectively. Constantine stayed in Rome until his death. Shortly before the death, he accepted the name Cyril. This was because he became a monk, and so he had to change his name. So he became Brother Cyril. So it was just for the very last part of his life. Constantine's brother Methodius was captured on his way back to the Great Moravia by the Bavarians, and they kept him a prisoner for more than 2 years. So, traveling was during that period really exhausting, and it took like a great amount of time. And he was even captured and spent 2 years in prison. But fortunately, he was freed by the Pope and finally could come back to Great Moravia. After some time, Pope issued bull, what is a document with a seal, and this bull is known as Industriae Tuae, and we can say that the main message of this bull is that Pope took Svetopluk and his empire, Great Moravia, under protection. He approved the Old Slavic language as a language of liturgy, and on Svetopluk's request sent Viching as new Archbishop of Nitra. So this is when it gets kind of tricky, because Great Moravia accepted Christianity from the east, from the Byzantine mission. Constantine and Methodius brought us the right thing. They gave us the Christian symbol. Thanks to their mission, Old Slavic language was accepted as a liturgical language. They established the first school for young priests. But Svetopluk requested for a new archbishop who was from the west, and so wanted to spread the Western Christianity. So this new archbishop, Viching, brought with himself also Frankish influence. Naturally, there was a conflict between Methodius and Svetopluk, because Methodius did not feel welcomed in Great Moravia anymore, and in fact he felt kind of betrayed by the Svetopluk. This conflict resulted in Viching's mission to Rome to cancel the Old Slavic as a language of liturgy. This was enough for Methodius. He died shortly after this incident because he could not take it anymore. After his death, the school for young priests in Mikulčice was closed, and his followers, that were led by Gorazd, who was the smartest and strongest out of them, were banished from Great Moravia. So Viching, who was also advisor of Svetopluk, wanted these priests out of the empire. So they took Glagolitic alphabet with them and left the empire. They went to Croatia, Bulgaria, Bohemia, Serbia, Russia, and so on. They developed this Glagolitic script to Cyrillic alphabet or script that nowadays is known as Azbuka, and it became the main writing in the Eastern Church. So what do we now know as Orthodox Christianity? So Cyrillic alphabet was used in Eastern Church, and Latin was used in Western Church and also in Great Moravia. Okay, now I will show you how the Glagolitic script looked like. So this is it. You can see the big letters, small letters. There's also kind of difference between the printed version and written version, and you can see the sounds under it. So this was Glagolitic script. I've put the also caricature that was made by Shooty. It's basically comics, and I like to use these kind of pictures a lot because it's connected also to modern histories. Before the Byzantine mission, the inhabitants of Great Moravia, and so the Slavs, were pagans. So this means that they had their own polytheistic religion. Do you remember I told you about Perun, Vesna, Morena? Okay, so they worship the gods of the nature, and they felt quite good about it. Then these two priests came from Byzantine Empire, and yes, they gave us a lot, but nowadays it's considered to be the only one traditional culture, and it was not the oldest culture that was in our territory, So in the time when these two came and were talking about the Christianity, I think it sounded like really weird to these people, to listen to completely different stories just about one God and about different rules, So I just put that in the presentation to maybe to think of it a little bit. Okay, what is the important thing for me is the year. So the 863, when the two brothers came from Thessaloniki to Nizhny Solun, Constantine and Methodius. They were sent by Michael III on the invitation of Rastislav to spread the Christianity. They brought us the Glagolitic script, Byzantine double cross. They translated the Holy Bible into Old Slavic language, gave us civil code. Constantine wrote the first poem, Proglas, and they established the first school for young priests in Mikulčice. They also went to Rome to get permission to use the Old Slavic language as a liturgical language. Pope accepted it, confirmed their mission, and so Old Slavic language became one of the 4 official languages of the Western Church. So there was Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and Slavic. Methodius also became the first Pannonian bishop, so he could consecrate churches and priests. Constantine did not return from this mission because he died in Rome. Shortly before his death, he accepted the name Cyril in the monastery. Methodius was captured by the Bavarians, so by the Eastern Franks, on his way back to the Great Moravia, and he was kept a prisoner for more than 2 years. After that, he was freed by the Pope and finally could come back to Great Moravia. Pope issued bull Industria Tue, by which he took Svetopluk and his empire under his protection and approved Old Slavic as a language of liturgy. Svetopluk requested a new archbishop, and this one should be from the Western Church. So, on Svetopluk's request, the Pope sent Viching as a new Archbishop of Nitra, and so the Frankish influence was brought to Great Moravia. There was conflict between Methodius and Svetopluk, and so between the Eastern and Western Church. It resulted in Viching's mission to Rome to cancel Old Slavic as language of liturgy, what Methodius could not take and died shortly after. After his death, the school was closed. His followers were banished from Great Moravia. Gorazd led these followers to Croatia, Bulgaria, Bohemia, Serbia, and Russia. In Great Moravia, Latin was used as the language of liturgy, and the Methodius followers, led by Gorazd, replaced Glagolitic script by Cyrillic alphabet or Azbuka that was used in the Eastern Church. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions, you can contact me, okay, and I will explain it to you. So what you need to do is just to study for your last small test, and you have a lot of materials for that. You have notes, presentation, you have these online lectures, and I can also give you some consultation if you like. So that's all from my side, and until the test, bye.